Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our eVisors webinar session. For those of you who aren't familiar with eVisors.com, it's your go-to destination for career prep resources. We have a network of over 5,000 professionals who've worked at some of the most sought-after employers worldwide, and they're all available to you on demand to help with mock interviews, with resume critiques, or career conversations so you can find out how to break into any industry or company. In addition to this webinar today, we have over 100 recorded sessions in our library that cover a variety of career topics and industries, and we continue to add new live webinars almost every week throughout the academic year. Today we're very excited to welcome one of our advisors, Ali, as the host for our session on careers in pharmaceuticals. My name is Caitlin, and I'll be the moderator today. It should last around 30 minutes with Ali, and then we'll have about 15 minutes for Q&A. So if you do have any questions, you can just submit them on the right-hand side of your WebEx panel in the Q&A box. So Ali has extensive experience in the healthcare sector, including pharma, biotech, medical devices, R&D, and marketing. And he'll tell you a bit more about himself once I turn it over to him. So today he will be discussing his experiences in the field and the various career paths within pharmaceuticals. So with that said, Ali, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin. As Caitlin said, my name is Ali Siam. I come from a background within medical devices, pharmaceuticals, and I'll give you kind of a brief overview of my background and then dive into pharmaceuticals, the different opportunities there, and sort of the different backgrounds that you typically see within functions within pharmaceuticals. So to start, I think everybody already saw my picture. This is what I look like, extremely photogenic. In terms of educational background, I completed my MBA at Boston College just last year in product management, and I actually did my undergrad in mechanical engineering at Northeastern University in '07. In terms of my current role, so I'm currently at a company called AbbVie, which some of you may or may not know. AbbVie was a part of Abbott Laboratories until the beginning of last year. So it was actually spun off of Abbott Labs, so it was the proprietary pharmaceuticals division. So basically that means the branded pharmaceuticals division as opposed to generics. We have roughly 25,000 employees. Our market cap is close to $90 billion, and we were Fortune number 152 last year. So an incredibly good first year in business. And just to give everyone background, the spin-off was actually seen as a way to increase value for shareholders of Abbott, given that Abbott and AbbVie basically doubled the market cap as separate companies versus when they were integrated together. So background is AbbVie became a public company, an independent public company at the beginning of last year, in order to create more shareholder value. And most people know us at this point more from our leading drug than if they're not familiar with the company itself. So our number one, the drug we actually have, Humira, is the number one drug worldwide. It registered about $10.6 or $10.7 billion in sales worldwide last year. In terms of my role specifically, I'm in what's called the Commercial Leader Program, or CLP. This used to be an Abbott program called the MDP, or Management Development Program. We typically do rotations in marketing and sales. And in my experience, in just a year and a half, I've been in the marketing functions in a few different therapeutic areas, so including oncology, hepatitis C, neuroscience, and mature businesses. In terms of my background, I held marketing and R&D roles, and by R&D here I mean medical device R&D, so this was engineering and medical devices as opposed to clinical R&D and pharmaceuticals. At Johnson & Johnson, Boston Scientific, ConMed, I did projects for Allergan, and as a side note, I had started a little fair trade company that I ended up selling to Equal Exchange and doing some consulting for towards the tail end of business school. So that, in a nutshell, is my background. So pretty extensively healthcare oriented. Now, I'll give you kind of a brief overview in terms of general corporate structure, and then we'll dive into the specifics of pharmaceuticals. So the title here is Destination Pharma. Coming from a marketing background, we try to add as much pizzazz as possible when possible. So if some of you aren't familiar with what a matrix structure is, and you'll find this in most corporate environments.